In this video, I challenge the romanticized idea of the master number. We are told that Life Path 33 is the avatar of compassion, a spiritual VIP pass to enlightenment. But the reality is far more dangerous. If you are a 33, or if you love one, you know that this number does not bring ease, it brings a crushing weight. I promise to reveal why you feel responsible for the pain of everyone in the room, and why your attempts to save people often leave you destroyed. However, the difficulty lies in the fact that your very soul is wired to bleed for others. If I fail to convince you to put down this burden, the consequence is not just burnout, it is the total collapse of your destiny. Because you are the master teacher, the universe throws you the hardest lessons. You see the broken pieces of humanity not as trash, but as a puzzle you are mandated to solve. But here is the paradox. You cannot save a drowning man if you do not know how to swim, and most 33s are drowning in an ocean of other people's emotions. Therefore, we must begin by looking at the cost of this vibration. It is high stakes. It is the difference between being a martyr who dies in vain and a master who illuminates the world. You have felt different since you were a child. You felt the unspoken grief of your parents, the hidden anger of your teachers, the vibrating tension of the world. This isn't just empathy, it is absorption. You are a psychic sponge in a world of toxic spills. The narrative we will explore today uncovers the why. Why you? Why this pain? Why does it feel like you are waiting for a permission slip to finally be happy? By the end of this video, you will understand that your sacrifice was never meant to be your destruction. But first, we must understand the terrifying architecture of your soul.
To understand the torture and the glory of the 33, we must reverse engineer the mathematics. You are not a simple number. You are a complex equation. You are a double 3. The number 3 is the child, creative, expressive, chaotic, joyful, scattered. It is the energy of pure potential and unbridled communication. Because you have this double dose of 3, you possess an electric charisma and a need to express yourself that is twice as potent as the average person. But, and this is the crucial but, these two 3s add up to 6. The number 6 is the cosmic parent. It represents responsibility, home, justice, and burden. This creates a violent internal war. The child, 33, wants to play, create, and explore, but the parent, 6, demands that you fix, heal, and serve. Therefore, you live in a constant state of friction. You want to run through the fields of life, but you feel compelled to build the fence, tend the crops, and feed the village first. This internal conflict is the engine of your suffering. You have the sensitivity of an artist, but the obligations of a saint. Most people can choose to be selfish. They can turn off the news, ignore the beggar, or walk away from a toxic friend. But you cannot. The 6 energy in you is a gravitational pull toward broken things. You are attracted to the wounded birds, the lost souls, the addicts, and the outcasts. Because your double 3 gives you the vision to see their potential, the 6 compels you to nurture it. This is why 33s often find themselves in relationships with partners who need saving. You aren't just looking for love, you are looking for a project. But this project often consumes the architect. You build a shelter for others and leave yourself out in the cold. This mathematical dissonance is the foundation of the 33 architect.
This dynamic manifests early. If we look at the childhood of a Life Path 33, we rarely see a bed of roses. We see a crucible. Because the universe needs to temper steel to hold a heavy edge, your early years were likely filled with situations that forced you to grow up too fast. You were the parentified child. Perhaps your actual parents were emotionally unavailable, struggling with addiction, or simply immature. Therefore, You stepped in. You became the mediator, the therapist, the emotional shock absorber for your family unit. This early training ground taught you a dangerous lesson. I am only valuable when I am useful. You learned to suppress your own needs to maintain the stability of your environment. You learned that love is transactional. You give support, and in return, you get to exist safely. But this set a trap for your adult life. You grew up believing that your needs were secondary, or worse, invisible. You developed a radar for other people's moods that is more precise than a military sonar. You can walk into a room and instantly know who is sad, who is angry, and who is lying. But this hypervigilance comes at a cost. It disconnects you from your own center. You become a chameleon, shifting your vibrational color to match the needs of the room. You stopped asking, "What do I want?" and started asking, "What do they need me to be?" This is the tragedy of the young 33. The avatar of compassion begins their journey by showing compassion to everyone except themselves. This creates a deep, hollow ache in the chest, a feeling of being unseen, despite being the one who sees everyone.
So, what happens when the latent potential of the 33 activates? We call this the Christ consciousness, or the avatar energy. It is important to strip the religious dogma from this term and look at the physics of it. The 33 vibration is a frequency of unconditional love. But unconditional love is not nice, it is not polite, it is a fierce, burning fire that consumes impurities. When a 33 walks into a life, they act as a catalyst. Because you hold this high frequency, you inadvertently trigger people. Your light casts a shadow. When you are operating at your highest potential, people around you are forced to confront their own darkness. This is why 33s often face inexplicable hostility or jealousy. You are a walking mirror. If someone is hiding a lie, they will feel uncomfortable around you. If someone is living in fear, your presence will make them anxious. You don't have to say a word. Your energy does the work. Therefore, the 33 is often the black sheep who is actually the golden sheep. You are the system buster. You are here to upgrade the emotional operating system of humanity, one interaction at a time. But this activation is painful. It requires you to be a conduit for energy that is much larger than your physical body. You often feel physical symptoms, chronic fatigue, autoimmune issues, strange aches. This is ascension flu. Your nervous system is trying to handle a voltage that would fry a normal circuit. You are literally embodying a higher spiritual current. The challenge is to ground this electricity without burning out your wires.
Here lies the greatest danger for the life path 33, the martyrdom complex. Because you feel the pain of the world, and because you feel equipped to fix it, you fall into the trap of over-giving. You give your time, your money, your energy, and your heart until you are a hollow shell. And then the resentment sets in. This is the shadow side of the 33. You start to think, after all I did for them, this is how they treat me? But here is the hard truth. No one asked you to die for them. You climbed up on the cross yourself and handed them the hammer and nails. You did this because you confused enabling with helping. You thought that by taking away their pain, you were saving them. But pain is a teacher. By taking away someone's karma, you rob them of their lesson. Therefore, the universe will punish you for interfering. When you try to carry a burden that isn't yours, your back will break. The 33 who is stuck in martyrdom is bitter, exhausted, and cynical. They feel used.
They attract narcissists and energy vampires because they are walking blood banks with the open sign turned on. This phase of the 33's life is dark. It is a spiritual depression. You feel abandoned by God, not realizing that you have abandoned yourself. You are trying to pour from an empty cup, and the only thing coming out is dust. The world doesn't need another martyr. It has had plenty. The world needs a master, and a master knows the value of their own energy.
How does a 33 escape the trap of martyrdom? Usually, it requires a disaster. In tarot, we call this a tower moment. Because the 33 is stubborn in their desire to serve, the universe must break their mechanisms of service to save them. This often manifests as a major health crisis, a divorce, a financial collapse, or a total nervous breakdown. It is the moment when you physically and emotionally cannot give anymore. You hit the wall, and this impact is the greatest gift you will ever receive. It forces you to stop. When you are lying on the floor, unable to help anyone, you are finally forced to look at the one person you have neglected. You. This is the turning point. The avatar energy turns inward. You begin to apply that fierce, unconditional love to your own wounds. You start to set boundaries, which feels terrifyingly selfish at first. You say no. But when a 33 says no, the earth shakes. People who are used to your unlimited supply will attack you. They will try to guilt you back into submission. But this fire you are walking through is burning away the pleaser and forging the teacher. You realize that you cannot light the world if you are a melted candle. You must become the lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run around the island looking for boats to save. It stands tall, shines its light, and lets the boats find their own way. This shift from rescuer to beacon is the evolution of your soul. Once the tower has fallen and the boundaries are set, the true master teacher emerges. But what does it mean to teach? You might not be a school teacher or a guru. You might be a baker, a mechanic, or a nurse. The title of master teacher refers to the quality of your presence. You teach by example. You teach by demonstrating how to handle suffering with grace, how to forgive without forgetting, and how to love without attachment. The 33 possesses the double 3 gift of communication. Your words have weight. When you speak, people listen. You have a unique ability to articulate complex emotional and spiritual truths in simple, accessible language. You are the bridge between the heavenly, spiritual ideals, and the earthly, practical reality. Because you have walked through the fire of martyrdom and survived, you have authority. People trust you because they feel your scars. They know you aren't preaching from a book, you are preaching from experience. Your life becomes your message. You start to attract a different caliber of people, those who are ready to heal, not those who just want to complain. You become a magnet for synchronicities. The universe starts to support you because you are finally aligned with your design. You are no longer fighting the current. You are the river.
The power of a realized 33 is exponential. We can look at the archetypes of history to understand this scale. While not every 33 is famous, the energy is similar. It is the energy of influence that outlasts the physical life. Think of the ripple effect. When you heal a trauma in yourself, you heal it for your lineage, 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. You stop the cycle of abuse in your family. You change the atmosphere of your workplace. But this influence comes with a final heavy responsibility: integrity. Because your light is so bright, your shadows are equally dark. A 33 who falls from grace causes massive destruction. We see cult leaders and manipulators who carry this number but use it for ego. Therefore, the 33 must remain vigilant. You must constantly check your ego. Are you helping to look good, or are you helping because it is right? The true power of the 33 is invisible. It is the quiet word that saves a marriage. It is the smile that stops a suicide. It is the art that inspires a movement. You are weaving the fabric of human consciousness. It is a job with no pay, no holidays, and often no recognition. But you didn't come here for applause. You came here for the mission. And the mission is to elevate the vibration of the planet.
We are nearing the end of the script, and this brings us to the hardest lesson of all: detachment. To be the avatar of compassion, you must love everyone, but hold on to no one. This seems contradictory. How can you care so much and yet let go? This is the paradox of the 33. You must love the addict, but let them hit rock bottom. You must love the child, but let them make mistakes. You must love the world, but accept its cruelty. This is the ultimate sacrifice mentioned in the title. The sacrifice is not your life, it is your control. You must sacrifice your desire to control the outcome. You are merely the vessel for the love to flow through. You are not the director of where it goes. This level of detachment requires a faith that borders on insanity. You have to trust that there is a higher plan, even when everything looks like chaos. When a 33 masters detachment, they become invincible. No one can hurt you because you need nothing from them. You give love because it is your nature, like the sun gives heat. The sun doesn't care if you close your blinds. It shines anyway. This is the state of the master. It is a state of supreme freedom. The heavy burden you carried in the beginning falls off your shoulders, not because the world changed, but because you stopped trying to carry it. You realized you are not Atlas. You are the sky.
We have traveled from the crushing weight of the cosmic burden to the weightlessness of the sky. If you are a Life Path 33, your journey is not for the faint of heart. You signed up for the advanced course. You chose the steep mountain path, while others chose the valley. But the view from the top is worth the climb. The ultimate sacrifice is not dying for humanity. It is living fully as your authentic self in a world that wants you to be small. By being your big, bright, messy, loving self, you give others permission to do the same. You are the avatar of compassion. But remember, compassion begins at home. Be kind to yourself. Forgive yourself for the times you couldn't save them. Forgive yourself for the times you broke. The cracks in your heart are not flaws. They are the windows where the light gets in. You are the master teacher, and your class is in session. The world is waiting for you to take your place, not on the cross, but on a throne of your own making. Walk your path with your head high. You are the 33. If this story resonated with your soul, if you felt that vibration of truth, then you know your journey is just beginning. There is so much more to uncover about your specific path. Visit numeralpath.com to dive deeper into your numbers. Like and subscribe to keep the signal strong. Class dismissed.